Board of Education will reconvene at this time. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the Board of Education meeting this evening. Please turn off your cell phones if you haven't done so already. Thank you. I'd like to make some introductions at this time. We have Courtney Dowling with us. Courtney, where are you? Nice to see you. Courtney is MSEA UNISERV Director representing CSMIC. We have Alex Jeffries. Alex, where are you? Stand up, Alex. Nice to see you, Alex. President of the St. Mary's Association of Supervisors and Administrators, known as SMASA. Harold Siskin. Harold, where are you? Harold is a co-president of the St. Mary's County Public Schools Retiree Association. Hope I didn't miss anybody.
And Dr. Rasmussen, if you have a vacant seat next to you, could you raise your hand so people can see? Feel free to take a seat. They're all in the front row and nobody wants to sit up there. So there's more chairs being put out over here as well.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Everyone in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, the ayes have it. We'll move right into board reports. Peter?
All right, thank you, Dr. Aspa. I know last board meeting we had, we kind of skipped over the board reports a little bit. So I just wanted to mention one thing from that. The week before spring break started, there was safety and security festivals at each high school in the county. Chopticon on the Monday, Great Mills Wednesday, and Leonardtown on Friday. At the safety and security festivals, as most of you know, I had my anti-bullying campaign that I've been running through my term as a student member. And with that, I had an assembly with the 9th graders in each high school regarding that, and using the website and the tool of Stop Bullying, Speak Up, their webpage and their campaign that's run through Facebook as well. And I had about a 15-minute assembly talking about the things that you do to speak up against bullying in schools, which is really making a difference, stepping up and being an advocate for others, and also being a role model for others in the schools. And we took pledges during lunches in all 3 high schools. And the first year going through this, we got about 600 pledges from all the high schools combined, and I was actually very happy with that result as well. And I'm glad and very thankful to all the high schools for giving us the resources that we needed to put on the festival. We also had the anti-drug assembly given by the sheriff's department, and the mock crash that was given to the seniors outside. And Chopticon, we had ours actually this past Friday because it was raining the original day, and it was actually a very powerful thing to see them demonstrating, taking apart a car and doing all those things because of the effects of drinking and driving. And we also had the Alcohol Coalition there as well to back that up. More recently, this past Saturday, at the James A. Forrest Career Technology Center, the cadets that are in the criminal justice program put on a yard sale to raise money for the SHU fund. This isn't the first year they've done this. This year, it was out from 6 to 11 in the morning. We got there really early, set up, and it's been in the preparation for months and weeks. We were very happy with what we raised. We didn't raise a couple hundred. We raised $1,139.80 to go towards the SHU fund. So. and that was the criminal justice program under Sergeant Bailey, and they've been working for a long time to get all of the materials necessary to put on that. And it was actually very good of them, and all the proceeds are going to the shoe fund. Yesterday, we had the St. Mary's Association Student Council's General Assembly that was held at Great Mills High School. And yesterday, the focus was our elections for officers for next year, and as well as electing the student member on the Board of Education for next year, for the next term. Now, I'd like to announce, and I know some of you already know, we...
They don't. You're making the announcement, so I was waiting for you.
All right.
Is it okay? All right, good. We didn't coordinate this too well, but go ahead.
All right. The next student board member on the Board of Education is Sarita Lee
Yep.
from Great Mills High School, and she was elected and approved just yesterday, actually, and through the messages we got, and it was very nice to get that back too, as well as our officers for next year. So,
Congratulations,
Very proud of
Joel.
her. Give her a round of applause as well. That's excellent.
Say that you're graduating. You're graduating.
mhm,
You say it?
I will be.
Yeah. Yeah, Peter's graduating, so he, yeah, going to
you
graduate.
yes.
Yes, yes.
All right, thank you, Dr. Raspo.
Thank you, Peter. Mrs. Crosby.
Andy has a beautiful red Mustang. I love Mustangs. That's what his screen cover was, yeah. I had a good time at Town Creek Elementary School. All three of my children went to Town Creek Elementary School. I read the book titled A Skating Rink to Kindergarten Students. I came in and I took out my minks. I'm not a wealthy woman. However, I have those minks, the real, well, they weren't live, the kids thought they were. Anyway, that you put around your neck, that everybody here probably knows what a mink looks like. Are they alive? Oh no, are they alive? Let me pet them, oh here, okay, they had them all. Now, what was my real object? Oh, they did learn a lot about minks. I taught nouns, common and proper, and these were kindergarten students, and they did terrific. So now they don't have to have that chapter when they get into first and second grade. At the very end, all the nice, I gave pencils, beautiful pencils. I always give out pencils, and this is one of my most enjoyable experiences as a board member. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Crosby. Mr. Matthews.
Yes, sir. I was at the 2013-2014 Educational Support Professional of the Year last Thursday. It was a good time. It was a great turnout. I want to congratulate Terry Melvin. She was runner-up, but this year it was a special year. We actually had two winners. We had Miss Kim Lockhart and Miss Wynette Perry that held the trophies up, and it was a good evening, and everybody was happy, and boy, if they don't do a lot for us. It was a good time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. Mrs. Washington.
Thank you. I'm going to piggyback on what our student board member talked about, the safety and security festivals that were held at all three high schools. They were from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. They had assemblies, speakers, hand-on activities, demonstrations, and it was just wonderful. And it was to promote the board's goal of safe and secure learning environment, student achievement, supportive partnerships, and effective and efficient uses of resources. ChapterCons was held on Monday, April 7th, Great Mills, April 9th, and Leonardtown High School, April 11th. And the assemblies, exhibits, and displays and demonstrations consisted of Drug Abuse Assembly, Lieutenant Russ Trow, a 15-year narcotics officer, Stop Bullying, Speak Up campaign, Peter Whitmire, a mock vehicle crash and emergency response demonstration. A crashed vehicle was brought to the school, and emergency response demonstration was conducted. There was an alcohol abuse prevention exhibit. Students would put on special eyeglasses which simulated an intoxicated person. And I tried it, and I had to walk a path under the influence, and I could not walk in a straight line. It was very interesting. There was a seatbelt safety check where checks were made at the entrance to all the three high schools to see if students were wearing their seatbelts. There was a volunteer fire and emergency medical services recruiting exhibit to show student volunteers opportunities in fire and rescue. And our student board member, Peter, spoke at all 3 high schools during the Stop Bullying Speak Up campaign assembly. He talked about his role as a BOE member and spoke on the topic of stop bullying, speak up, be more than a bystander. His purpose was to raise awareness and to learn actions to take to prevent bullying. Peter said we should speak up because bullying hurts, we can prevent it, and then we can grow as a community. Students were encouraged to take the Stop Bullying Speak Up pledge, where computers were set up in the cafeteria for signed-ups. I also signed up for the pledge. Adults could sign up as well. Signing up for the pledge meant I was aware that bullying makes people feel isolated, unimportant, and afraid. That I would speak up, talk about it to family, friends, and neighbors, and advocate for anyone, and will be a role model. Peter also talked about how cyberbullying can spread and hurt people. He encouraged students to speak up for people who can't speak up for themselves. I want to give an enormous thanks to all our community partners who supported the safety and security festivals. There were 13 community partners. It is worth it to mention each and every one of them. The St. Mary's County Sheriff's Office, the Maryland State Police, the Mechanicsville Volunteer Fire Department, Mechanicsville Volunteer Rescue Squad, Bay District Fire Department, 7 District Volunteer Fire Department, Leonardtown Volunteer Fire Department, Leonardtown Volunteer Rescue Squad, Lexington Park Volunteer Rescue Squad, St. Mary's County Department of Emergency Services and Technology, St. Mary's County Community Alcohol Coalition, MedStar St. Mary's Hospital, and Brinsfield Funeral Home. But special thanks goes to Mr. F. Michael Wyatt, our Director of Safety and Security, and his staff for coordinating a successful Safety and Security Festival at all of our 3 high schools. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Washington. Mrs. Allen.
I've done a lot over the last few weeks, much of it in work out of the county for the school system, but also for MABE. But I think the piece that I want to highlight today actually goes back just a little bit, as Mrs. Crosby did. I too read at Town Creek Elementary School, and it was for Read Across America. And a few months ago, I found a book. It was a book of stories by Dr. Seuss that I'd never seen before. And it was a group of lost stories that Dr. Seuss had written prior to becoming the infamous Dr. Seuss. And these were stories that were written and placed in Redbook magazine. And as such, many of them had been lost. So many people just throw out their magazines. But a lot of people remembered reading them, and they had, a number of them had written to a scholar who is an expert on Dr. Seuss, and talked about these stories, and were so effusive about them that he determined that it was something he needed to find. And so he began this hunt by going to libraries and searching back through their old collections. And the book is, and I probably am not saying it correctly, but the Bipolo Seed and other stories by Dr. Seuss. And so I took this book with me and I read it to a group of students at Town Creek Elementary, and surprisingly enough, none of them had ever read or heard of any of these stories, including the teacher, the principal. No one there had heard these stories before. And the one that I selected was about a bear and a rabbit. And the bear comes upon the rabbit and is just about to eat the rabbit in one gulp. And the rabbit thinks, that's it. I'm done. I can't get out of this. But the rabbit thought really quickly and turned on the bear and said, oh dear, oh dear. And that quick thinking, he was able to say to the bear, you know, you're a goner because you don't have an equal number of eyelashes on both sides. And he goes on through this story, and in so doing, the bear is so overcome that he runs up a tree to try to get the antidote for this. And with that, the rabbit runs off. And the moral of the story is that it doesn't matter what your size is, if you think quick enough, you can get out of a lot of things. And that really resonated with me because I'm not the tallest person in the world. But it resonated with a lot of the kids too. And after so many years of reading and going to schools, and I love reading to students, but so often I'm reading a book that is much loved by them, and so I've come to caution them as I go into schools. Now, you guys have probably read this before, but I haven't, so please don't spoil the surprise for me. So it was really refreshing to go in and find a book to have a book that they'd never read before, but that so spoke to them that they all wanted to know where they could find it. And I suspect that Town Creek Elementary will be going out to get a new book because it was really a lot of fun. And it reminded me of Peter's bullying campaign. And so with your anti-bullying, it's so important, Peter, and I really hope that the message spreads far and wide. Because it doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, we just don't need bullies in the world. So thank you for all you've done over this past year to spread that word and make sure that to the most that you can, your legacy is to make sure that students know they have options and they don't have to be bullied. So well done.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mrs. Allen. I attended the Educational Support Professional of the Year celebration. It was well attended. We have the best support professionals in the state working in our schools and office buildings. And we are very fortunate that our employees are proud of their school system. Everyone is working together as a family and doing what it takes to help children succeed, doing whatever it takes. And that's a great feeling, Dr. Martirano.
Absolutely.
Really is. Okay, Dr. Martirano, Superintendent's report.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Great to see everybody. I know that a few of us are a little bit wet. We're having some rough weather, but my text phone went off early this morning. I've got a lot of people who work very closely with me who give me updates on all kinds of things, and I said no way that Mr. Clements was calling me to tell me that we were going to have a weather event that needed to close schools today. So even during the months of April and May, we are concerned about that as well. So I recognize we've had some major weather here in the county this afternoon. But we move forward. So the bottom line is I want to give you some updates on my report today. One is that, board members, I think you're aware of this. We have a partnership with the Community Bank of Chesapeake. That we offer a program called EverFi Financial Literacy Program. And they underwrite the cost for St. Mary's County Public Schools for us to do that. We have administered that program in several of our schools, particularly in Chopticon and Leonardtown High School. And to date, we have had 231 students who are using the program, and 141 of them have completed the program with certification. That gives us a 61% certification rate, that whole focus on financial literacy. Mr. Bowling, who is here, has been a very big advocate of the program. And Mr. Bowling and his team at Chopticon have invited EverFi and the Community Bank of Chesapeake to the school on June 9th for the certification program. So we're very proud of that, the constant focus on financial literacy. And I want to thank our schools that are doing that, particularly you, Mr. Bowling, for your focus on that program. Also recognize and congratulate Rocco Aiello for having an article on adapted PE, and you're right there in the front row. You get to sit there. On Corollary Sports, published in April issue of Principal Leadership, has another wonderful article that has been published. I want to display to you tonight, board members, and show to the community. Recently, we were nominated for an award. It's an employer support of the Guard and Reserve Program, presented to St. Mary's County Public School System as an award for going above and beyond award for participation and support of individuals in our school system who are in the reserves and the Guard. And this was presented in Annapolis. Leslie Fancella went up to receive the award. It's a beautiful plaque and award for the recognition of our support of our employees, show the community as well, and we're very proud to receive that. We were also very honored when we were nominated as well to receive it. Also want to let you know that the Water Safety Program, Kelly Hall, who is here, through a lot of great collaboration and in persistence, I should say, has been able to get that program running again using the pool at CSM. Fifth graders from 7 elementary schools, including 4 Title I schools, are participating in the Water Safety Program this year at the College of Southern Maryland here in Leonardtown. Obviously, this excellent program reinforces life-saving and safety skills, and this was made possible through funding from the BOCC and CSM. Remember, the first year we did it on our own, and then they're so successful that we were able to follow up, and all based upon, predicated on the belief and understanding that many of our young people, although we're a water community, many of our young people don't know how to swim. And you need to understand that as we take that polling data, one, a lack of public pools, a variety of issues, but to understand the need for focus on that, we've been able to run this program. The schools and students were able to participate at no cost to the school system or to families. Students this year are from Dinard, Ridge, Greenview Knolls, Green Holly, Lexington Park, George Washington Carver, and Park Hall will be participating this year. And again, we've started this last week, and we will continue to provide you the dates and times of that. I'll ask Kelly to provide some additional specifics, so if you want to stop by and see that program in action, it would be in your best interest to do so because it's wonderful. Want to congratulate Park Hall Elementary. See the Principal Norton is back there for being selected as a physical education demonstration school for 2014 through 2017. This is a wonderful achievement. And it's the second time that Park Hall has received this well-deserved honor. Give them a round of applause if you would. Just a couple reminders. Recognize that if you are a parent, a staff member, community member, have children in the school system, that as the calendar is published, we don't go back and make that adjustment to the actual calendar. But you remember that the original calendar said that on May 2nd that we would be closed for students and staff would be open for professional development as a result of the many snow days that we hope are behind us. I say that hopefully, never know. That school will be in session on Friday, fully open with our teachers and staff present, with the expectations that students will be present as a lawful day of school. There was references made to our own Peter, who will be graduating here at the end of the month. As we turn the calendar, I should say, to May, moving that forward, it'll be quickly upon us. The culminating event for all community, recognizing our graduation rate at 91.5, the excellent standards of which we have set to keep that at that level. We'll be graduating students again this year. On May 28th will be Great Mills High School. On May 29th, Chopticon High School. And on May 30th, Leonardtown High School. So we're very pleased about that. So my last bit is, recognizing lots of conversation this time of the year and regarding our budget as well. And we had a wonderful work session today, and the process for FY14 and FY15 continues to move forward. And there's a lot of concern and for each other's well-being. And I really greatly appreciate the support of emails and the conversations just when we're out and about in terms of those boosts of keeping our own internal morale up, as we're addressing and making certain that everybody is protected in schools and safe environments and without all the distractions of what's going on. We will get through all of this. We must get through it. We always do, and we will. The challenges become greater some years than others. But the way I keep my perspective is always finding opportunities to engage with teachers, with our students, with our staff, and have had many of those opportunities with our first-year teachers, the professional development that's been provided. But I had a phenomenal opportunity recently, and I want to share just a little bit with you because there's some funny stories in there. I think I may have told the board that one of the things that I do as an incentive is if there's any door prizes, I will make certain that I put my name in the hat to provide, if the drawing is called and that particular teacher gets selected, that one of the prizes is, I hope it's a prize, is that they get to have lunch with me. And so I'll take lunch to them in their school to lead us to serve and to serve the teacher at that time. And that's a very positive event. So I'm doing those right now. So I recently had one with one of our teachers, Miss Buccino from Park Hall. And wonderful event. She had a selection of goods from a local eatery here in the county. Took those to her. But at the end, she presented me with a scavenger hunt. And recently it was my birthday. And so as I'm walking through the hall, as only kindergartners can do, so keep this in mind, there's a group of kindergartners in the hallway, walking down the hallway, and I hear one of the little girls say to one of the little boys, "There he is, there he is." And the little boy starts pulling on my jacket, and I'm thinking, yes, I know, thank you, wave to him, and he said, "No, happy birthday, Dr. Seuss. We're really happy for you." So, as only a kindergartner can say, I felt very humbled, considering I think Dr. Seuss just turned 175, I don't know, with it. But he was all intense because he got all nervous. "There he is. Happy birthday, Dr. Seuss." Yay. So just wanted you to know that. You got to find, as I always tell staff, our teachers and our staff, tune into the frequency of kids. When you're listening just to adults all day and you're listening to the air up here, tune into the frequencies of kids. And if you can't find something to bring you joy every day, something to laugh about every day, check your pulse. People know that when they've had their roughest days, that elementary schools, they will visit kindergartners, high school principals will visit elementary schools to visit kindergartners, and they keep you humble. They remind us of why we do what we do, and so as we move through all of our yearly events of our budget cycles, what keeps that resolve of hopeful focus in terms of the future is the work being done in our schools by our outstanding teachers and staff, but the smiles being brought upon our faces every day by those young people that may not always know who we are, but bring us joy when they say happy birthday, Dr. Seuss. So on that note, Dr. Seuss, Dr. Raspa, I turn it back to you for the continuation of our meeting.
Thank you, sir. Recognitions. The first recognition this evening is Music in Our Schools, Mrs. Dietz and Dr. Moderano.
And go ahead, Laurel, and I'll join you at the appropriate time.
Good evening, Dr. Martirano and Board of Education. I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to recognize the hard work of our students and our teachers, our music teachers and our music students. Music in Our Schools Month is during the month of March, and it's really only 1 month that we recognize the importance of music education in our school system. But the teachers and the students that you'll see tonight have been involved with this for years, and their faces you continue to see in front of you because they work so hard to be so good at what they do. So while it's 1 month, we recognize that they work hard year-round, years at a time, decades even for some of our teachers. So we appreciate all they do. I'd like to start with the students in our recognition, and I'm going to recognize the students that who auditioned for our All-State Ensembles, Maryland All-State Ensembles. They audition in the months of October and November, and then the concerts take place in the months of March and February. And they actually travel up to Baltimore or the Baltimore area, and they join a huge group of students from all over the state that have auditioned to be in this group, and they make music for an entire weekend. They work with world-renowned conductors who bring a wealth of knowledge to the event, and then they put on a fantastic concert for their families. So I'd like to start that recognition off with our first student, Matthew Price, Spring Ridge Middle School, and he was in the All-State Junior Chorus this year. I should also mention that Matthew had a wonderful solo in our Tri-County Honor Ensemble this year, and he did an excellent job representing St. Mary's County in that. Next we have Miss Sarah Gauger from Chopticon High School, and she was in the All-State Senior Women's Chorus. Miss Christy Norton, Chopticon High School, and she was in the All-State Senior Mixed Chorus. And Meredith Wood, Chopticon High School, All-State Senior Women's Chorus. I should mention the weather has prevented several of our students from being here tonight, but I will be sure to send them their certificates and our congratulations.
Give them a big round of applause, please.
Next, I'd like to recognize our middle school and high school directors who participate in a district festival assessment every year. It's like our big assessment at the middle school and the high school level for our band, our orchestra, and our chorus students. And I'd like to recognize those teachers that received a 1 or a superior rating at that festival, which then allows them and qualifies them to move on to the state level and perform at that festival assessment as well. And they take their group, their ensemble, up to the stage and they perform 3 pieces, and then they are adjudicated by 3 separate judges who give them scores and feedback and comment. And then after they've performed their prepared pieces, they have to go into the sight reading room where they perform a piece of music that they've never seen before. With their students, and they have to walk them through the process, and it really tests the musical skills that they've learned and gained through working with their teachers. So it's quite a stressful situation, but these teachers are the truest of professionals, and they bring their students through it with flying colors each year. So I'd like to recognize them. Miss Jacqueline Chapman, she's the director at Margaret Brent Middle School, Chorus. Miss Nicole McCumbee, she's the director of the Margaret Brent Middle School Band.
And may I interrupt real quickly? If you can, and you've been recognized already, I know a number of people with the weather and have to get home for homework and all that, but at the end, we're going to take pictures of the groups of the individuals who remain. If you can stay, parents with your children, young people who recognize, we want to do a picture there. And the other piece is that goes for all groups because we will do that all at once. And for individuals being recognized, this is your moment in the limelight. There wasn't clear directions given, you're missing that. We want you to fully walk down the red carpet, down the center, and enjoy every square inch of that as you can. You're doing well, so continue.
Great. And Miss Abby Vanderwest, who is the director at Leonardtown Middle School and Spring Ridge Middle School's orchestras, and both of her ensembles received superior ratings this year.
I just gave you directions. There you go. Get 2 certificates.
Mr. Todd Burrows, director of the Chopticon High School Bands, and both of his bands received superior ratings this year. I'd also like to mention that Mr. Burrows took the Chopticon High School bands up to the state festival yesterday, and both of his groups also received superior ratings at the state festival. Miss Sarah Lorick, the director of the Chopticon High School choruses, and both of her groups received 1 superior ratings.
Wow, fantastic. No surprise there.
And Mr. John Opplinger, director of the Leonardtown High School Orchestras, and his chamber orchestra received a 1 at District Festival. And it's been a long day for Mr. Opplinger. He took his orchestra up the road to Morgan State University today and made it back in time, and they received a 1 up at Morgan State as well.
Wow.
Wonderful group, outstanding talent. We're so proud of you. Give them a huge, thunderous round of applause. All of you again, if you can, be recognized that as well, so you may go back to your seats.
This was a very unique year for St. Mary's County Public Schools. We had 2 of our directors who were invited to other counties in the state of Maryland to be the guest conductor for their honor ensembles. And it's a huge honor to be asked to do that for any school system. I know when I'm looking for guest conductors, I'm really looking for the best of the best to come and work with our students. So the fact that we had 2 directors that were invited to do that in neighboring counties and even on the Eastern Shore is a huge honor, and I'd like to recognize them. Mr. Todd Burrows, who is at Chopticon High School, was invited to be the guest conductor of the All Shore Junior Honor Band on the Eastern Shore.
That's great, because those guest conductors are excellent. So it's a piece of data that I don't always hear the number of people who do that for us as well, because we have people who come in and do that. We're not on songs.
Yes.
Wonderful, very good topic.
And Mr. Christopher Karnbach, who is the orchestra director at Esperanza Middle School, he served as the guest conductor for the Calvert County All-County Middle School Honor Orchestra.
Very good. As well, you represent us so well. I love those. I miss that. Excellent. That's good. Give them a round of applause as well. Our outstanding supervisor of fine arts, Ms. Laurel Deeds. Give her a round of applause.
Thank you, Mrs. Lee. The next recognition, Superintendent's Leadership Development Academy, Dr. Marr, Dr. Marrano.
Well, good evening. Since 2006, 166 teacher leaders have completed the Superintendent's Leadership Academy. And tonight, we recognize this year's cohort of 22 exceptional individuals who have demonstrated their knowledge and instructional leadership throughout the year in this academy. The program is a year-long professional development activity in which aspiring leaders and new leaders develop skills for instructional leadership. The academy objectives include developing an understanding of the role and responsibilities of an instructional leader, developing an understanding of the expectations of instructional leadership in St. Mary's County Public Schools, developing skills for facilitating leadership practices and change initiatives within a program or school, and identifying goals for personal and professional development in terms of instructional leadership. Each participant engages in this ongoing study, beginning with a week of intensive work in the summer and continuing with monthly sessions focused on the expectations of leadership. Participants complete a leadership project at their school in which they take on a leadership role for a school-wide activity that could have implications beyond their school. Many of these projects have had a system-wide impact as we look to replicate successful projects and programs. Excuse me. This program is one that fosters exceptional teacher leadership, and I am proud to have learned from and with these individuals this year. The board recognizes the following individuals who have completed the Superintendent's Leadership Development Academy for 2013-2014. And so as I call your name, if you could walk the red carpet and join us up here. Mr. Michael Boyle from Chopticon High School. Ms. Terry Buckler from Piney Point Elementary. Yes. Ms. Kelly Egan from Benjamin Banneker Elementary. Ms. Kimberly Grabenstein from Leonardtown Elementary. Ms. Kimberly Gray from Leonardtown Elementary. Ms. Lauren Holmes from Mechanicsville Elementary, Lauren Cook. Ms. Megan Hatterer from Chopticon High School. Ms. Shaggy Joe from Fairlead Academy. Shaggy. Miss Marissa Kincaid from Spring Ridge Middle. Miss Amy Kotelboy from Park Hall Elementary. Mr. Tom Corancides from Chopticon High School. Ms. Lisa Lewis from Evergreen Elementary. Ms. Amber Lyon from Benjamin Banneker Elementary. Mr. Joe Matchak from Hollywood Elementary. Miss Virginia Meadows from Hollywood Elementary. Miss Ashley Menendez from Evergreen Elementary. Mr. David Morris from Hollywood Elementary. Ms. Jacqueline Orr from Esperanza Middle School. Ms. Susan Parlett from Benjamin Banneker Elementary. Mr. Brian Wiesner from Great Mills High School.
Uh-oh.
And we have two individuals who I don't believe are here this evening, who I'd also like to recognize in their absence. Miss Cassie Polo from Dinard Elementary, who just recently had a baby, so she's busy this evening. And Miss Elizabeth White from the Department of Student Services, who I don't believe came in. She's had a conflict this evening. And Dr. Martirano, board members, and the community, I also want to recognize, too, that we cannot do what we do alone. It takes a team. So in addition to the participants in the Academy, I would like to also recognize the following current leaders who co-facilitated the Leadership Academy sessions and provided mentoring and support to the Academy participants. Those are Ms. Wachula Adams, who I don't believe is here this evening, but would like to recognize her. Ms. Lisa Bachner, principal of Leonardtown Middle School. Ms. Honora Patelka, supervisor of special education. Ms. Denise Eichel, principal of Leonardtown Elementary. And Ms. Audrey Ellis, principal of Piney Point Elementary. And also not present this evening, Miss Michelle Gallant-Wall, supervisor of English, who also helped to lead the Academy. I just want to say again, I have learned so much from this entire group. They're a fantastic group of leaders and potential leaders and teacher leaders, and I cannot say enough great things about them. So please let's join another round of applause for those fine folks.
See if I can get Mary Ann out here now, because it's such a large group. If we could ask the board members to stand right now and do that. So this is future administrative training. So my big challenge right now is to raise you for a picture. So take steps up, if you would. Come up closer. And then form that same formation so that you kind of like make sure you're in between each other at that level. Very good. You're in the middle. She's already turned. You turn that way, you turn that way, you turn in this way, you come in that way. Very good. Tighten up a little bit, if you would. Hopefully we can see everybody in that sense. Very good. Very good. On that end, Mary Ann coming out now. Okay, so got all the board members out. All of you. All right. There we go. Got it? Can you stay in place? What I want to say is congratulations to all of you, board members. Recognize what Dr. Marr said, the number of individuals that we've had come through this program since 2006. It became very apparent to me that we needed to start home growing our own leaders in many ways. The training we put it through, we've taken it to a higher level now. We have a lot of our own current leaders leading the process, because recognizing we want the very best teachers, we want the very best administrators, we want the very best staff members. In a self-renewing organization, we continue to provide that PD, professional development for that to occur, so that you're ready to go when those vacancies emerge and your opportunities come about for yourself as well. So we congratulate all of you. A wonderful program. Again, self-renewing, great, strong organization, and keep up the great work. You're all phenomenal. Round of applause again for the Yes, we're going to do that. So we're very cognizant of your time. You all may stay if you'd like.
Oh, we got two more.
All right, moving along. The next recognition is the SMECO Outstanding Mathematics and Science Teachers Award. Let's see, Mr. Hayes, and we have Ms. Consalvo, Alex Jaffris, and Dr. Martirano.
Good evening, Dr. Martirano, Board of Education members. It is my great pleasure to introduce the 2014 SMECO Science Teachers of the Year for middle and high school. First, may I present the middle school recipient, Ms. Stephanie Baruta. A few words about Stephanie. She is an 8th grade science teacher at Spring Ridge Middle School. She has been teaching for 16 years, 10 of those years in St. Mary's County. During her time here, Stephanie has participated in several professional development sessions. This school year, she was a presenter at the System-Wide Professional Development Day held on September 20th. She was also the STEM representative for her school during last summer's Educator Effectiveness Academy. And just yesterday, she participated in the middle school performance-based assessment writing session. I consider Stephanie one of my go-to teachers in the county. Congratulations, Stephanie. Next, I would like to present the high school recipient, Dr. Robin Solomon. Robin is a biology teacher at Leonardtown High School. She has 11 years of teaching experience, 5 of those 11 years in St. Mary's County. She serves as Science Fair Coordinator at Leonardtown. This school year, Robin is piloting a bioethics class she developed. 5 years ago, when I was an administrator at Leonardtown High School, I started an after-school tutoring program. When I began recruiting teacher tutors, Robin was the first to respond. I can always count on her, and I always can. Congratulations, Robin. Thank you.
Good evening, board members. I have the honor of introducing the SMECO Elementary Science and Math Teacher of the Year. April Skinner is the science winner this year, if you're going to come on up. April's been teaching for 16 years, and 13 of those years have been in St. Mary's County. She currently teaches 4th grade math and science at the Chesapeake Public Charter School. And I've had the honor of working with her on the STEM for All grant initiative that I've been working with. To quote her, for as long as she remembers, she's been passionate about natural sciences, and that's who she is, and it shows through her students. One of her colleagues stated that students in April's classes benefit from the innovative ways that she explores scientific concepts through real-life applications. Congratulations, April. Next, I'm presenting the elementary math SMECO science teacher, or math teacher of the year for Becky Loker, who's the supervisor of math, who's unable to be here with us this evening. And the winner of this is Miss Cheryl Wright. Cheryl has started teaching in St. Mary's County in 1997, and she's taught grades 1, 2, 3, 6, and 8, and she's also done summer school algebra. She truly understands the continuum of instruction. Her principal, Ms. Eichel, say that students in Ms. Wright's class analyze problems, identify strategies to solve the problems, and work collaboratively to find and defend their solutions. Congratulations and thank you.
Good evening, board members. I have worked with Miss Samuel. Miss Samuel, come on up and let's be recognized. Math SMECO Teacher of the Year for middle school. Let's give her a round of applause, please. I've worked with Miss Samuel over the past 7 years as her supervisor, and frankly, I'm constantly amazed at how she's able to reach all ability levels of children regardless of demographics. Erica inspires all students and her peers alike to achieve what the Greeks called their eudaimonia, or the personal destiny. Erica utilizes multiple approaches to learning, such as the Rule of 5, and various technologies to help students most easily assimilate the mathematics. Ms. Samuel supported new teachers in their quest for tenure, been a chief participant in grade 6 item writing for county benchmarks, co-authored the county's newly designed Common Core 6 and Common Core 6 accelerated curricula with an emphasis on rigor, and was the lead counsel for the county's selection of new textbooks for 6th grade level mathematics back in 2007. Simply put, Erica's tireless commitment to all students, serving as the department chair of the math department at Leonardtown Middle School, and flourishing in a role as the county's course leader in Common Core 6 mathematics, while serving as a mentor to all new mathematics teachers, leads one to correctly conclude that she is the consummate professional. Let's congratulate Erica right now. Math Teacher of the Year, SMECO. Is Miss Judy Evans here? Looking for Judy. All right, there's Judy. Miss Judy Evans is the high school SMECO Math Teacher of the Year. Let's give her a thunderous round of applause. I've worked with Miss Evans for the last 7 years as her supervisor as well, and I can personally attest to her tenacious work ethic and indomitable spirit that she brings to her classroom every single day. Judy makes learning tangible, rigorous, and relevant for her students, and gets all of her students college and career ready. Miss Evans has taught many courses over the years, and her contributions were instrumental in helping Chopticon achieve one of the highest pass rates in the county for the Algebra HSA. Quantitatively speaking, Chopticon has consistently outperformed the rest of the county in state average on every algebra data analysis HSA administered by the state of Maryland. Simply put, Miss Evans is a master teacher who constantly maximizes her students' potential. Judy's tireless commitment to Chopticon and her student success is unparalleled both in and out of the classroom, as she also has been a decorated varsity basketball and lacrosse coach in her tenure at Chopticon High School. She is a true Renaissance woman. Join me in introducing the 2014 Smecco High School Math Teacher of the Year, Miss Judy Evans, once more. Thank you.
Keep them up here, if we could as well, because this is a good crowd too. So all the individuals who were also up here, if you would come up again, the recognition of the teachers and the supervisors who are all here as well. Come on back up if you would. This is a big honor. I mean, we celebrated at Smecco, I think last month with them. They're just a great partner, a great honor, and all the great students that they involved in their newsletters.
Thank you.
We're so proud of you. So, let's get
Oh,
this
good.
right. Guys back. Up. We're missing. Everybody's together there. That's right there. Good. We'll close it.
That's good. Thank you for your jump. And it's, I'm in trouble now.
Okay, the next recognition, School Nutrition Employee Week, which is May 5 through May 9, and the Healthier U.S. School Challenge Recognition. We have Mr. Clements, Mr. Jones, and Dr. Martirano.
Yes.
Good evening, board members.
Good evening.
Sorry for the delay. School Nutrition Employee Week is celebrated this year, May 5th through May 9th, and provides an excellent opportunity to recognize our people for the wonderful work they do in meeting the nutritional needs of our students every day. In the next few slides, I will highlight some of the great work that they do. Breakfast meals are the start of every day starts off with breakfast in our schools, and breakfast is offered in every one of our schools in St. Mary's County. We also have breakfast in the classroom program in 9 of our schools, and in those schools, the breakfast meal is offered to every student every day and without charge to them. Our staff participate in promotions that teach nutritional messages. More than 8,200 lunch meals are served every day, and more than 200 snacks are served every day. The snacks are provided to support students that participate in after-school programs. And cafeteria staffs develop long-lasting relationships with students and help to create fun learning environments. Our farm-to-school program teaches students about the source of their food and the benefits of eating a healthy meal. Our summer food service program provides meals to students during the summertime when schools are not regularly in session. This year, 16 of our schools were recognized by the health department as Gold Star winners. And this program recognizes those food service facilities in St. Mary's County that maintain the highest standards of food service, safety, and sanitation. What's truly noteworthy about this is that there's more than 500 food service establishments that are inspected by the health department every year, and of those 500, only 26 received the gold stars this year. Of those 26, 16 of those awards went to our school cafeterias. It just goes to show you the high level of work that's being done in the cafeterias. We have a small group here to represent our department, and at this time I'd ask for them to join us up front for receiving the proclamation. So if staff would come up at this time. And they're going to walk the red carpet as they come up. If I can introduce the staff that are here from my left to right, Sherry Katsonis, Food Service Coordinator, Pat Morgan, Cafeteria Manager for Town Creek Elementary School, Carol Lohmiller, Cafeteria Manager at Evergreen Elementary School, Lisa Brubacher, Staff Nutritionist at the Central Office, and Mr. Will Ridley, Food Service Coordinator as well. So. And we have an associated proclamation for School Nutrition Employee Week.
Okay, let me read that. First of all, very pleased that you're here this evening and the work that you do representing all of our schools. And that picture there is very emblematic of the recognition of all of our schools received. 16 of those awards from schools. Board members, you were there that day. So let me read this. The proclamation for School Nutrition Employee Appreciation Week, and we are so appreciative of the work that you do. Whereas nutritious meals are an essential part of the school day and the school food service operation by virtue of the service provided to students and staff is an integral part of the educational environment of the St. Mary's County Public Schools. And whereas the staff of St. Mary's County Public Schools Department of Food and Nutrition Services is committed to promoting wellness and providing healthful, nutritious meals to the county's children. And whereas over 2,100,000 meals are served each year to the students in St. Mary's County Public Schools as part of the National Schools Lunch Programs, it is testimony to the valuable contribution by the school food service personnel to the educational process. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of St. Mary's County does hereby proclaim the week of May 5th through May 9th as School Nutrition Employee Week in St. Mary's County Public Schools and in the community. All school staff and students are encouraged to recognize this week as School Nutrition Employee Week and participate in its observances. So thank you for the work that you do. This is signed by all the Board of Education members and myself on this, the 30th day of April, and we are going to give this to you, the two of you, to represent our schools for everybody that you have in terms of the acknowledgement of our employees. And want to give Mr. Jones, give him a round of applause as well as our Director of Food Services. And I think when you think about it, a couple, three things that were really promoted in the work that we're talking about. 2,100,000 meals. Think about that. How many we serve and the nutritional value. And the fact is that many of the board members, they will, if they were talking right now, would say the importance of making certain that students are well fed every day creates a very positive environment for learning. And we know that. If you've ever tried to learn or do a task when you're hungry, you know how distracting that can be. This board has made it a value to make certain that every young person is fed by providing breakfast in every one of our schools, and then 7, 8 of our schools, 9, excuse me, it keeps moving on us each year. 9 of our schools, we serve breakfast in the classroom to every student in the school. And that is a phenomenal statistic, something that we're so proud of, a lot of our data points, and acknowledging the fact, what we need to say also is that our economically disadvantaged rate has continually crept up over the last several years, again at about 33% overall. That's an increase of about 10% over a 10-year period at a time when we want to make certain that more students who have needs are fed, that you take care of them in a very respectful manner. There's no delineation or distinction of students who are defined as economically disadvantaged versus individuals who are, have the means to be able to pay on their own. And that makes us all very proud in that sense, that we make certain that children are not going hungry in the schools, and that the sensitivity level that is conveyed by our staff members is just real in that sense. And you've heard me tell the story each year because it made such an indelible mark on my thought process. When many of those pictures you see, each year I make it a tradition to work in the cafeterias and to serve meals, and each one of those is a very unique event. But I remember vividly going to Hollywood Elementary School my first year and the staff there saying, as they were moving the young people through the line, there was a lot of love and care and compassion. And the manager at the time said to me, Dr. Martirano, we know these students better in many ways than the teachers do, because as a teacher finishes out the grade level with them, they advance, and they may lose sight of them because the next group of students come in for their grade level. But we get to see the children grow from pre-K, kindergarten, the whole way through the process, see those emotional needs, make certain that students are fed, and develop that strong relationship. So I really value that interaction. It really made a mark in my thought process. And we need to think about that way. As leaders of children, everybody has a role, and the role that you play really is a true hook and testimony to the work that's occurring in this school system. So when we talk about the graduation rate, that's the teachers need to be commended for that tremendously. All of our staff and our support staff need to be commended for that work that's occurring, because each one of those is an integral part of making certain that young people are achieving, and making certain they're nutritiously fed every day is a true important piece of that. So join me in a thunderous round of applause for these fine people, and congratulate them for that as well. Mike? Oops, don't hurt yourself.
Well, thank you very much. This is actually a two-part presentation, so at this time, we're going to let this group sit down.
But they'll come back for a picture.
Next is the Healthier U.S. School Challenge. And we have a group here to represent the Healthier U.S. School Challenge Award that's being was awarded to Carver Elementary School, and I'd ask for that group to come up now. As we get settled in, I'll introduce each that are here. And Sherry and Lisa, you're back up here again. So with us tonight, if you would line up next to Ms. Wood. I apologize about my voice. The pollen has gotten the best of me. And
Everybody.
Okay, so from left to right, we have from MSDE, representing USDA with us tonight, Ms. Amy Medora.
Wonderful.
And we have Ms. Annette Wood, principal of George Washington Carver Elementary School. Once again, Ms. Sherry Katsonis, food service coordinator from representing the Southern Schools. And Ms. Lisa Brubacher, our staff nutritionist, once again. So just a few comments about the Healthier U.S. School Challenge. The goal of the Healthier U.S. School Challenge is to improve the health of children by creating and sustaining healthier school environments in the schools. Participating schools make changes to improve the quality of the food served, provide students with nutrition education, physical education, and physical activity. Schools are recognized nationally for their achievement. And so USDA actually provides these incentives, and we have several things. The first one, we ought to unfurl this. Amy, if you want to grab this, and you're going to get some help from the staff there. This is a banner that can be proudly displayed somewhere at George Washington Carver Elementary School at the silver level.
You guys are like doing the wave, but
And Dr. Martirano, if I could get some help.
okay, hang on 1 second.
Oh, you want to turn around, Dr. Martirano?
This is a check. It's a big check.
Put that right in the ATM deposit now.
This is a $1,000 check that's provided from USDA for award-winning schools that are Healthier U.S. schools. And that will go to Ms. Annette Wood, and that money will be spent towards anything in the realm of nutrition education. And I think Ms. Wood already has a plan for that money, already spent. And lastly, we have this placard, and this is a facsimile of the original placard that'll be coming. but we wanted to have something to present tonight. And so, so we had this to present. And Ms. Medora, did you have any comments you wanted to make?
Hello. So as was introduced, I work for the State Department of Education in the Nutrition Programs Office. I'm sort of representing the USDA as well because they weren't able to be here tonight. They try to attend all of these events, but they're not always able to. So I'll just say that the staff at the school, the Healthier US School Challenge is an initiative that brings together both the nutrition department staff as well as, you know, we have to have support from the principal, the faculty and the staff that deal with the students with the education pieces. So it's really everybody in the school coming together to be committed to the health of the children. And it's not an easy application process, as I think Lisa would attest to. There's you submit a lot of things, and it's USDA will question some things, and you have to submit more things. But they did it. They have a silver recognition. There are bronze, silver, and gold. So and I believe you didn't already have a bronze, right? You went right to silver for the school. So they did a really good job.
Just a few more comments about that. Some of the requirements for the higher levels, like gold and gold with distinction, requires a participation in the school meal program that is above where Carver is. So silver is the highest that they could have shot for and achieved. It's a very collaborative effort, and it takes a lot of work on the behalf of people coming together to make it happen, and truly should be applauded for their exceptional efforts.
Okay, so before you do all of your furling back up, come on up again. Board members, come on up.
Want to take a break?
We'll turn that light off if we could. Just go right there. We'll get closer. Well, yes, I will gladly help you. We'll get some other people.
Oh, no, you're perfect.
Oh, there you are.
Okay.
We have a board member missing in action.
Yes, well, she'll be here
Who's that?
momentarily.
Thank you. Who's looking?
Okay, we'll move on.
Kathy's missing.
There's no public hearing
Kathy leave?
this evening. Public comments.
Where'd Kathy go?
Madam Secretary, are there public comments? Okay.
Good. Did you
Please
get
bear
some?
with me while I read the public comment statement. Thank you.
I have yours.
The board welcomes public input on policies and issues affecting our schools. The board takes this time to listen and consider, but not to comment.
This one.
This is not, however, the appropriate forum for negative comments or criticisms of individual staff or students. Concerns about individual staff members that cannot be resolved at the level closest to the situation should be directed to the superintendent. This board will not permit comments criticizing individual staff or students, since this is outside the scope of public comment. Additionally, the board sits as an appellate body in both student and employee appeals. The board cannot comment on or have prior knowledge of a case that would influence their ability to deliberate. To maintain the ability of the board to render a fair and unbiased decision, comments regarding individual, student, or personnel issues cannot be presented at public comment. Speakers must sign in at the beginning of the meeting. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and speakers may not yield their time to someone else. The board encourages speakers to present written statements to the board secretary, who will distribute copies to all board members. Madam Secretary?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Evening.
My name is Liz Purcell Leskinen, and I'm the UNISERV Director for the Maryland State Education Association. I'm here tonight on behalf of EASMIC, CESMIC, and SMASA members, as well as the community that they serve. Facts are stubborn things. Tonight, we want to share the story of SMCPS Healthcare and the red herring. So here's the story. Is there a problem? Yes. The problem is that SMCPS does not have enough money to pay for current and remaining FY14 expenses. Is employee health care expensive? Yes, it is. This is not new, and it's not unique to SMCPS. It's a national challenge and an ongoing debate. Did health care cause this problem? No. Healthcare in FY14 is tracking just like past history and current trends indicated it would. Is there a budgetary problem? Yes. Is there a healthcare usage problem? No. The well-deserved healthcare plan was negotiated in good faith as an ongoing trade-off for salaries far below the market, considering the required level of skill, responsibility, and education for employees. Employees are using these benefits responsibly. What honest mistakes were made? Within the limited funding allowances, not enough money was budgeted for health care, despite trends and clear historical data. The imminent budget deficit was not identified or reported via the established budget tracking process until it was at a crisis level. As John Adams said, facts are stubborn things, and whatever may be our wishes, our inclinations, or the dictates of our passion, they cannot alter the state of facts and evidence. Educators do their homework. Based on the readily shared SMCPS and CareFirst data, EASMIC, CESMIC, and SMASA have checked the facts. Yes, facts are indeed stubborn things. I'm going to address a number of topics in this story, sharing an assertion about each topic, followed by the facts. Citations are provided in the copies that you have there. The first topic is female subscribers. The assertion is SMCPS has a workforce that is 80% female and 20% male, which negatively influences healthcare costs. Fact. While the number of female employees who enrolled in the plan is 72%, the actual percentage of female users on the plan is only 55%. This is less than 2% more than the CareFirst book of business. Fact. Of the total paid for calendar year 13 high-dollar claims reported by CareFirst, only 17.9% of the cost was attributable to female users. She should have danced all night. Assertion. The predominantly female workforce and the resulting pregnancies were a factor in driving unusual health care costs. Fact. Normal pregnancies are not even listed in CareFirst's top 15 major diagnostic categories for SMCPS in calendar year 13, the most recent time period for which data is reported. Fact. Complications of pregnancy and childbirth rank 9th of CareFirst's top 15 major diagnostic categories for calendar year 13 and represent less than 5% of the total cost of that same top 15. High-dollar claims. Assertion. More high-dollar claims have resulted in an increase of $500,000. Fact. From the data provided, we could not verify this assertion, identify what time period it addresses, or determine at what threshold SMCPS classified a claim as a high-dollar claim. Fact. Our health care plan stop loss, that's the maximum claim payout, is $200,000. SMCPS pays up to $200,000 per claim. CareFirst pays for every claim costing $200,000 or more. Fact. CareFirst defines high-dollar claims as those exceeding $100,000. SMCPS paid 7 high-dollar claims in calendar year 13. This compares to 6 in 2012, 10 in 2011, 9 in 2010, and 15 in 2009.
Mrs. Leskinen, could you
Yes.
please summarize? Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Facts are stubborn things.
Meg McDonald, UNICEF Director for the Maryland State Education Association, representing SMAZA here in the county. I'm going to pick up where Liz left off on your PowerPoint, and luckily I talk way faster than she does. Increased enrollment. The assertion is the increased enrollment of 77 employees resulted in 279 new members, users, and a relative increased cost of $926,000. The fact is, the adjustment for changes in enrollment was $429,310 for all of calendar year 13, which, as most of you know, is by that time most of our new employees had already enrolled because that goes through December of 2013. Prescription costs. There was an increased prescription cost, according to the assertion, totaling $1,987,200. Fact, between calendar year 12 and calendar year 13, which is the most recent period for which data is available, there was only an increase of $598,661 in prescription costs. This amount was only a 7% increase, a third of what was asserted. Fact, this 7% increase should have been anticipated since the prior year's prescription costs increased by 6.6%, which almost directly, by the way, correlates to the 5.9% increase in members covered. Fact, the increase in prescription costs in FY14 was normal and predictable. Brand versus generic drugs. Assertion, 75% of St. Mary's County prescription cost is for brand name drugs. Fact, while 75% of prescription costs in dollars were attributable to brand name drugs, a pivotal data point went unsaid. In calendar year 13, users responsibly chose generic drugs for 74% of their prescription fills. The insinuation that employees are being unwise or wasteful is false and misleading. Fact, employees have no control over the costs of brand name drugs. Not all drugs have generic equivalents, and some employees cannot take generic drugs due to adverse medical consequences. A 74% generic fill rate is a significant positive achievement under these conditions. Prescription fills. Total prescription fills increased by 1,229. Prescription fills increased. Brand name fills increased by 1,380, and generic fills decreased by 151. Fact, we're not provided with the data to make the comparison, but however you slice it, 74% of all prescription fills were for generic drugs. Prescription copays. The assertion is prescription copays are $5, $10 $5 generic, $10 brand, with only brand and generic fills available. This two-tiered plan is unusual and extraordinary in value these days. Fact, we responsibly negotiated a higher copay for brand name drugs in order to motivate users to choose generic drugs when available and when possible. This strategy has proven successful with 74% of all prescription fills being for generic drugs. Fact, our neighboring public educators in Charles County have the same 5-10 two-tiered plan as we do, and Calvert County colleagues pay a flat $10 with no incentive whatsoever to choose generic. Assertion, the top 8 drugs used 16, well, you can see the number. Fact, of the top 10 brand name drugs used by our employees in calendar year 13, 8 of them have no generic equivalent. If employees do not have a generic choice, then the implication that they are frivolously choosing brand name drugs is unfounded. CareFirst Premium. If CareFirst FY14 premium, it is asserted, increase of 11.8% had been implemented, it would have resulted in $2.2 million in additional revenue. Fact, we don't have the FY14 projected rating report to verify this recommendation. However, based on our members' good experience and responsible usage in this year, fiscal year 14, CareFirst is only recommending a 3.7% premium increase for next year, FY15.
Please summarize, please.
Would you like me to, well, let me summarize that. Facts are stubborn things. Dr. Rasba. You can flip to the end of the page. Clearly, there should be copies. Our colleague Courtney Dowling has distributed to you. If you need more copies, please get in touch with us, and we'll be glad to provide that for you. Okay?
Thank you.
Good evening. The last time I spoke, I cried, so I brought tissue. I'm going to try to be stronger this time. I'm Tanya Parker, and as several of the board members talked about the ESP of the Year award ceremony, I was both humbled and honored to be the Division of Supporting Services nominee. So thank you all for your attendance. Again, my name is Tanya Parker. I work in the Department of Design and Construction, and my title is Contract and Fiscal Specialist. I diligently manage the budgets and track expenditures for approximately $54 million. I am financially responsible, both personally and professionally. Earlier today, we heard Dr. Monterano talk about sustainability. However, I have a question for you. How can your education support professionals, or ESP, sustain a positive and productive life for themselves and for their families if the employee contribution for health care increases, co-pays increase, the cost of prescriptions increase, the cost of food, providing shelter, utilities, fuel, and the overall cost of living in this wealthy county go up, and our salaries do not? There are currently no step increases or COLA planned for FY15. We're still behind in our step increases, and we haven't received a COLA in years either. We now move into FY15 with no intentional furloughs. If this county is so wealthy, then why are we not asking for proper funding for education and for our employees who support our schools? Today, we were also told the classrooms will remain intact. How will our children get to school? How will the children be kept safe in buildings and structures? How will the classrooms be kept clean and operational? How will the children be fed nutritious and balanced meals and snacks? I can tell you how. Educational support employees. ESP employees are the lowest paid in the school system, and yet we have been faithful, loyal, and giving of our time and support for the school system through tough economic times. Many of us, including myself, are already working 2 and 3 jobs, in addition to giving countless hours of dedication and hard work to our schools, volunteering with the children, and throughout our community. However, we are unable to keep up at this time. Our children deserve to be served and educated by employees that are given salaries and benefits that can sustain a positive and productive life for them and their families. This was not an FY14 healthcare shortfall. It was a budget shortfall, period. St. Mary's County Public Schools provides a great public school education for each and every student. On behalf of all of our ESP, I beg you, so please request the funding necessary to negotiate a fair compensation package with employees. Please don't forget about us. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education, Dr. Martirano, colleagues, and community members. My name is Dawn Pipkin, and I currently work as an instructional resource teacher in our system. I have an AA in early childhood, a bachelor's in human studies, a master's in reading, which qualifies me as a reading specialist, and I achieved national board certification in 2009 in English language arts early adolescence. It's my 14th year as an education professional, and I've also represented the voice of teachers on 2 state boards, the Educator Effectiveness Council and the Professional Standards and Teacher Education Board. I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of the IRT group, if they'd please stand, and the students and staff we support in St. Mary's County Public Schools. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the irony of the situation that we are in. On Friday, April 25th, St. Mary's County Public Schools announced the Agnes Myron Teacher of the Year recipients, and I'd like to extend congratulations to Kathy Reinecke, an IRT colleague who will represent our system as our nominee for Teacher of the Year at the state level. On that very same day, the collective group of professionals who serve in the role of IRT were informed that there was a strong possibility that our positions would be eliminated to solve the budget crisis. In fact, high schools locally have been advocating for IRT positions in St. Mary's County Public Schools for the last several years, yet the IRT role is being considered for elimination. It is disheartening, disappointing, and demoralizing that I need to spend time outside my workday tonight to ask you to not attempt to solve the budget crisis by sacrificing the supports that students and teachers so desperately need in this time of constant change, evolution in the field of education. I'm energized by the advances in technology, the adoption of the Common Core standards, and all the other efforts that are underway across our nation to shine the light on public education and do everything we can as a country to prepare our students and give them a bright future. This bright future, however, should not be built on the shoulders of education employees. Education professionals by nature are self-sacrificing individuals who spend their own money on supplies for students, freely open their wallets to provide for the basic necessities of students, make donations when asked to support families who can't have Christmas for their children, and are a profession that keeps giving. However, we're at a critical juncture where we are being asked to continue to solve the issues of inadequate funding by giving up step increases that we are owed again. After this year, we will be 2 steps behind from that which St. Mary's County Public Schools promised us upon our hiring. There's also no plan to provide a cost of living increase to employees in an effort to balance the budget again. And now our health care is under siege. Just as the school system is experiencing increased costs in heating, gas, and food, so have its employees. The workforce of this system cannot continue to bear the burden of funding the school system, and we cannot continue to forego compensation improvements that put our financial security at risk. The possible budget solutions that have been proposed are no different than what the staff of St. Mary's County Public Schools has been doing the last several years since the economy tanked. Once again, we're looking to our employees to not only provide a world-class education, but also solve the budgetary woes in a manner that directly impacts our personal ability to provide for our families. A familiar refrain that comes from the county commissioners is that we keep expecting our school system to do more with less. This mentality has got to stop before we end up undoing all the progress our school system has made in the last 9 years. Dr. Martirano often says that all the success we've achieved isn't by accident, it is by design. I'm here to caution you that these potential solutions, like eliminating the IRT position, will serve to start the erosion of all the progress we have made on behalf of children. The work of IRTs and supporting teachers through direct contact with students, professional development, diagnosis planning and intervention of interventions and enrichment, data analysis, test coordination, support for new initiatives like Gifted and Talented, Common Core standards, as well as countless other duties will have a negative impact on student achievement, teacher workload, and the quality of the education we're providing in St. Mary's County Public Schools if this Board of Education continues to eliminate the vital IRT role. In conclusion, the decision rests in the hands of you, the members of the Board of Education, and the leadership of our school system. It's not too late for you to do what you were tasked to do when you were elected. Be strong advocates for a quality public school system. Don't shy away from asking for what the school system needs, and do not continue to think that the current trend of doing more with less will keep us on the path to high levels of student achievement. The students, the citizens, and the employees of St. Mary's County Public Schools are counting on you. Thank you.
A conveyor red carpet would have been nice. There you go, a little levity would be good.
Before I begin, I'm looking for a face. Raise your hand, Mr. Beard. There he is. I live in Lusby, and as you all know, I've had some serious operation, had a hip replaced, and I can't drive. My husband, who teaches in PG County, drove me here tonight so that I could speak to you. So thank you, honey. You're wonderful. I'm going to get it when I get home. Good evening, Dr. Martirano, members of the board, colleagues, and community members. My name is Anna Laughlin, and I am the president of the Education Association of St. Mary's County. I've been keeping in touch and watching this whole budget unfold from home as I recoup from hip replacement surgery, and I have a few concerns. One, this problem has been couched as a healthcare issue and not simply a budget issue, which is what the problem is. According to our statistics, the use experience has not exploded. It was just not properly budgeted for. Our overall use has trended with use in years past, and as the saying goes, lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on ours. My second concern is that we, the staff, have been made out to be the bad guy. Stories about families with 19 children and what would cost to cover are irrelevant. And frankly, since we have the option to cover our families, it's also moot. Explanations of how the high percentage of women of childbearing age are included in our roles in running up our costs may have seemed like a great facet of explanation to you, but it was received as a huge insult by employees, as was the mentioning of how many people we have who are gravely ill and how many need expensive procedures, such as hip replacements. Our health care is a benefit that we fought for long and hard. Many years, our members made it clear that they wanted the program protected, improved, and expanded, and they gave up salary increases to get it. We earned it, and we owe no one an apology for using it. People age, stuff happens. Men and women build a life together, start a family, set down roots. These are all part of the circle of life, if you'll pardon the cliche, and they should not be a surprise to anyone. Some of you sitting at that table right now are recipients of these same benefits, and you've all used them in their time as your lives changed and your families grew and you got older. My third concern is that nowhere in the three scenarios that you've offered is there any mention of money for negotiations, and this is wrong. The lack of salary improvement has been going on for years. 2 steps that are 3 years late is not a pay increase, it's money owed, it's contractual agreement that was not honored. The impacts on the quality of our lives now and the lives we'll live when the time comes to retire is great. Now there's talk about putting IRTs back in the classroom. What I'd like to know is, what do you expect to do with all the things our IRTs do when you take them away? Because I certainly hope your plan isn't to dump all that on the classroom teacher. You've already gone to that well way too many times, and there's no more room on that plate. So what we have here is a fine mess and a plan to solve it on our backs. I want you folks to know that the breaking point we've been warning you about is here. We are angry. And we are in no mood to sacrifice and pitch in anymore. You might take away our IRTs, and we might get a pay cut next year. We can't stop that from happening. But heaven knows we've been there over and over again, but this time we are not going to hold hands and sing kumbaya and promise that we will get the system through this. It's time for this organization and this community to stop giving lip service to how much they appreciate us and fight for the funds to run this organization with adequate funding and not with our sacrifices. Thank you.
Patty Parsons.
Good evening, Dr. Martirano and the Board of Education members. My name is Patty Parsons, and I am an instructional resource teacher at Town Creek Elementary School. I have a bachelor's degree in English literature with a certification in elementary education, a master's degree in curriculum instruction, and a variety of other graduate credits, all of which assist me as I work as a resource teacher in my school. I have been teaching in St. Mary's County Public Schools for 14 years. I am also the Town Creek Test Coordinator, the Town Creek Teacher in Charge, and a mentor to a second-year teacher and a first-year instructional resource teacher. I have some comments and some questions. Who recommended taking the $4 million anticipated savings in the FY14 budget request, especially given in the previous 2 years the health budget did provide for healthcare funding that included this $4 million? Who approved this, and was this fiscally responsible? Given the importance you have assigned to IRTs as the agents of change bringing Common Core to the classroom, it is odd that the way to deal with the FY15 budget issues is to eliminate these positions. If IRTs were not the vanguard of bringing change to the classroom, why was the elimination of the IRT position not discussed in years past? It appears that poor budgeting in FY14 and an inadequate FY15 budget has led to throwing things overboard to keep the school system afloat, the school budget afloat. This situation was entirely predictable. By the dismantling of the Budget Advisory Committee and the limited involvement by parents in the school improvement teams, the administration has ensured that there is little or no parent involvement in the schools, resulting in a lack of interest by parents in our school budget. This has resulted in little or no parent advocates at both the Board of Education and the Board of County Commissioners budget hearings. If you do not hear from the voters, then your budgets do not matter. IRTs do a variety of jobs that go well beyond what I mentioned at the beginning of my comments. We assist teachers with data analysis, run intervention and enrichment groups, lead professional development, research and work on committees with supervisors, write curriculum, and are a bridge between our fellow teachers and the administration. Please leave our positions intact and instead request money to fund our positions, as well as the other needed money to fully fund the budget necessary to run our school system. Thank you for your time.
Jennifer Kulke. Hello, my name is Jennifer Kupke, and I got my first job in St. Mary's County Public Schools back in 1984. I worked for 18 years as a classroom teacher, teaching 1st through 5th grades. I worked at Carver Elementary those years and Hollywood Elementary. For the past 12 years, I've been an instructional resource teacher at Green Holly Elementary. During my years as a classroom teacher, I saw firsthand the need for targeted interventions for students who were not making progress, particularly in the area of reading. I took on the role of instructional resource teacher in order to directly impact students. Through this position, this county has given me numerous opportunities to learn about current research on how the brain learns to read, how to implement research-based interventions, how to help students develop phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency skills that they will need to be proficient readers. In my current role, I'm responsible for implementing interventions, enrichments, and to promote best practice in reading from grades K through 5. This includes providing training, job-embedded professional development for our teachers and paraeducators. We have been able to provide not only interventions for at-risk students at my school, but enrichment programming, such as junior great books, to our students who are reading on and above level. This is in addition to the recently added gifted and talented programming that I provide for a small group of identified GT students. In my role as IRT, I'm in a position to work across grade levels to build a culture of readers, establishing routines and structures that students will build on as they move through each grade. We currently have 1st through 5th graders using iPads and computers effectively. They are doing research projects using our county's online databases. These young students are sharing and collaborating with their peers. They're posting ideas and projects to our county's online Moodle site, similar to College Blackboard. My role allows me to network with other resource teachers, our media specialists, e-coaches, to share these innovative technologies with classroom teachers, preparing our students to be college and career ready. Instructional resource teachers are typically the people called upon to coordinate many of the programs our county has embraced. Just this past Saturday, hundreds of students participated in the annual math challenge, led primarily by IRTs. From coordinating destination imagination teams, 5 of which I worked with this year at Green Holly, acting as liaisons with colleges to support field experiences, over 25 working at my school, or training volunteers to work with our students to carry out school system initiatives. The students at my school and schools across this county will be directly impacted if this position is eliminated. Karen Mattingly is unable to be here tonight as she is attending a class. One of her responsibilities as an IRT at my school is to support our regional special ed program that is at Green Holly. This program requires numerous hours of management of hundreds of student artifacts. She supervises and provides guidance for these SAIL teachers as this will impact the overall performance of our school. We are living in a county with numerous resources, but it will take people, an investment in human resources if we are to continue to progress in St. Mary's County, the progress we've made so far. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Melanie Cannon, and I have been teaching for 26 years. During that time, I've spent 16 years as a classroom teacher teaching 2nd through 5th grades and 10 years as an instructional resource teacher. I have a bachelor's degree in early childhood education, a master's degree in curriculum instruction, and I hold a certificate in educational administration and supervision. I am here this evening because I am concerned about the possible elimination of the instructional resource teacher position. Instructional resource teachers, known as IRTs, are an integral part of every elementary and middle school staff in the county. We are the liaisons who communicate the changes in curriculum, instruction, and assessment. This is an extremely important role now because we are in the process of switching from the Maryland State curriculum to the Common Core curriculum. Many IRTs have spent part of the last 3 summers at educational effectiveness academies to learn firsthand about the Common Core expectations. We also spent more time planning how we could best communicate the information to the teachers at the school and at the county levels. And then we implemented those plans. This is an ongoing part of our job because the new information on the Common Core and PARCC assessments is continuing to be released. My job as math IRT at Green Holly Elementary School is an amazing job that allows me to see the big picture of the whole school. It provides me the opportunity to see the growth of every student makes from the time they enter kindergarten until they leave for the middle school. Almost every day, I start my day by attending a PLC meeting with a different grade level team. I know which children are struggling and which ones are excelling. I meet daily with groups of students from every grade level, providing them enrichment or remedial instruction, and I coordinate additional remedial groups who work with our paraprofessionals. Classroom teachers only keep their students for 180 days, and then they have to release them to the next grade level. I, on the other hand, get to pick up the following school year right where we left off the previous year. Several years ago, when I was in the Leadership Academy, Dr. Martirano spoke to a group of us about having the right people in the right positions within our school system to make it the best it could be. He described this by using a metaphor about buses. He talked about how some people may need to switch seats on the bus, others may need to switch to another bus, and how some people may need to get off the bus and find other forms of transportation. Using his metaphor of the bus, I see the instructional resource teachers as being the GPS system of the bus. We are the leaders within our school buildings. We are the leaders within our school buildings that guide the teachers and students to their final destination of being the best schools that we can be within the best school system. Without IRTs, some buses may take longer routes to reach their destination, while others may completely get lost along the way. In the meantime, it will be the teachers and students on the buses who may not arrive at their intended destination. I know there are major budget issues, but eliminating the instructional resource teacher is not the best solution to that problem. Eliminating this position will be detrimental to every elementary and middle school staff in the county. It will have a negative impact on administration, classroom teachers, and most importantly, our students and their achievement.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education, Dr. Martirano, colleagues, and community members. My name is Kristen McIntyre, and I currently work as an instructional resource teacher in our school system. Since IRTs work as a collective team, Cheryl Rayleigh and other IRTs are standing with me. I have a BA in psychology, a master's in elementary education, and a master's as a math instructional leader, which enables me to be a math specialist. I also have served as a master teacher for the state of Maryland. This is my 10th year as an education professional. I don't believe many people truly understand our position. I have a list of my responsibilities as an IRT, including within the past 5 years. This list is inclusive because my responsibilities change daily. I've also included statements from teachers who have been impacted by an IRT. This list, with its multitude of responsibilities and the teacher's statement, should prove our value in our system. Without IRTs, these responsibilities will be put on teachers, administration, and central office staff, who already have demanding jobs. Without IRTs, the quality of education will decline. I request that the county commissioners fund the Board of Education enough to preserve our positions, increase our steps, and honor COLA. Here I go. conduct intervention and enrichment groups based on RTI needs, train parents and teachers on interventions and enrichments, plan group schedules based on data and student needs.
Plan group schedules for parent volunteers, para-educators, and college education students, then meet with each periodically to discuss progress and needs. Observe teachers and offer feedback. Collaboratively plan with teachers. Analyze data and discuss instruction for students. Model lessons for teachers. Discuss best practices with teachers, administration, IRTs, and central office personnel. Set up online accounts for teachers and students, hold training on computer programs, help teachers become familiar with new initiatives and support introduction and instruction, prepare, plan, and conduct weekly PLC meetings, plan professional development within the school building and throughout the county, hold professional development sessions, assist teachers, staff, and volunteers to find novels and begin reading groups, work with teachers on comprehending the curriculum, coach and attend SMECO Computer Bowl and Math Challenge teams, collaboratively score writing and math assessments with teachers, disseminate pertinent central office instructional information to teachers and vice versa, create and distribute monthly newsletter to parents, selected as a master teacher for MSDE, which involves state training and teaching school representatives, attend IRT meetings monthly, reflect and then distribute information as needed, coach and attend DI teams, attend intervention trainings within our state, research and study intervention and enrichment programs, attend test coordinators meeting trainings, administer state and county assessments, enter all data into Performance Matters, and print all reports for teachers and administration, determine students to progress monitor and enter progress monitoring scores online when needed, provide monthly reports and discuss student progress needs. As test coordinator, hold testing meetings, make schedules, prepare assessments and materials, create log sheets, and hold makeup testing, create monthly math calendar for instructional purposes, order testing and instructional materials, assist teachers in finding resource to purchase, distribute all test and benchmarks and scan sheets to teachers, making windows and deadlines known, enter scores through SAM and Performance Matters, assist in preparing report card comments, provide support to teachers as needed through discussions, answer questions as they arise, communicate information as needed, help teachers discover how to adapt programs to meet their needs, test incoming pre-K students and early entrance to kindergarten applicants.
Please sum up, we're getting over time.
We still have another whole list. Et cetera, the pages, there are 3 pages, and facts are stubborn things.
Hello, Dr. Raspa, Dr. Monterano, Board of Education community members. My name is Bernadette Sheets, and as many of you know, I have stood before you as the SMCPS Teacher of the Year for 2012, 2013, as various other celebratory reasons my family has been part of the Board of Recognitions. I am a huge supporter of this school system, and I am so proud to call it home after my husband settled here after 7 states of his military duty. What brings me in front of you tonight is not a celebratory reason at all. It is a reason of grave concern. My heart is so heavy with disappointment of yet another budget cycle crisis, one that has a magnitude of which I have never personally experienced in my tenure as an education professional. I am deeply concerned by the news of not only our shortfall, but of the news of possibility of losing our primary resource for Common Core instructional resources, our IRTs. Our curriculum has changed, our assessment of students has changed, our evaluation system has changed, but the resources provided by SMCPS have not changed. Somehow, teachers have to reconcile the mismatched curriculum resources while raising the rigor, all the while worried about student achievement and our evaluation. When we have questions about implementing the Common Core and the shifts in instruction required to ensure student success, we turn to our first line of defenses, our instructional resource teachers. While I'm not privileged to, nor do I have the desire to be privileged to, our school system budget, I would like this Board of Education and the Board of County Commissioners to hear from those that are on the front line, the teaching and the staff, the support staff. We have forgone our raises and steps we agreed to when we signed our contracts, while the economy has increased our cost of living. Since I was hired 7 years ago, I have experienced an 87% increase in my health care costs, while I have only enjoyed a 34% increase in my pay, which is directly due to my obtaining my master's degree paid for out of pocket. It has become, I am close to risking my family's financial well-being, as it has become more costly to continue to do what I absolutely love. We are charged to keep safe and educate academically and ensure social and emotional well-being of anywhere from 25 to 220 students a day, depending on grade level of our position. We are given 45 minutes a day of planning and 30 minutes of unpaid lunch leave. We have an additional 30 minutes per day outside of student hours to help us balance our workload. But the truth is, the overwhelming majority of us take home a minimum of 15 to 25 hours per week in additional uncompensated time to accomplish the tasks necessary to run an effective classroom that ensures our high student achievement. Yet we are asked to do this without our promised longevity steps agreed upon for our employment year after year. And now our IRTs are in jeopardy of returning to the classroom to help balance the budget. This will only increase our workload, our teaching staff, and this could be the very thing that could break the proverbial camel's back. I personally know I cannot handle any more already in my packed day. What I'm asking this board to do is to please go back and have an open and honest conversation with not only ourselves, but the Board of County Commissioners about our system's funding. I'm wholeheartedly asking you to balance the budget in a way that does not rely on teachers and support staff bearing the burden of the budget in a way of losing our IRTs or our paraeducator resources or burdening us with our raising our costs even further in times when we can't afford a cost of living. In closing, I thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you, and I hope you understand that I am one of the system's biggest supporters, and I'm so thankful that my husband and I chose to raise our children in this system. But your education and support staff are stretched way too thin, and I'm gravely concerned about our students' quality of education when cuts to the budget consistently impact classroom teachers and their human support resources such as IRTs and paraeducators. We aren't asking to live lavishly, but we are asking to be treated like professionals that we are and be provided with basic increases in secure resources to help us continue the job of high-achieving graduation rates with successful college and career-ready students.
I'm Paul Scott, and I'm in my 26th year as an elementary teacher in St. Mary's County. And sometimes I'll get a student in my classroom who just doesn't achieve at the expected rate. And when that happens, I go to an IRT and I say, what can I do to help little Johnny? And the IRT meets with me and we plan a program for little Johnny. And if that program is effective, then we continue it through the year. And if it's not effective, the IRT comes back and we sit down and we develop another program for little Johnny. And sometimes the IRT comes in my room and works at a table in the back of the room with little Johnny and little Mary and little Susie. And sometimes they leave my room and go down to the IRT's room and work with the IRT for a double dose. Not instead of having reading with me, but in addition to the reading that I'm doing, a double dose of reading with the IRT. Sometimes I have a child who is way above the expected performance level. And I don't want that child just to sit there and veg out while I'm teaching the curriculum. So I go to the IRT and I say, how can I enrich little Johnny? And the IRT comes up with books and programs and schedules and curriculum for me to use so that little Johnny's not wasting his time in my classroom because his ability is several grades ahead of time. There's all kinds of data out there. Test after test after test, and this data is dissected and twisted and pulled, and the IRT helps me make sense of it. And she lays it all out for me, and she says, this shows that Susie's making the expected achievement. This shows that Sammy could do a little bit better, and this shows that Amy is doing more than can be expected of someone with Amy's ability. The IRT pulls all of this together and explains it to me. Sometimes something new comes around that I haven't taught before, and I'm not sure that I'm teaching it correctly or effectively. The IRT will come in my room and observe my teaching, and then she'll say, Paul, you did a wonderful job at this. You could do a better job at this. One way to improve it is to do this. Sometimes the IRT will come in my room and model the lesson. I'll sit in the back and I'll take notes, and the IRT will teach the lesson with my children. Sometimes I go to the IRT's room and I watch the IRT present a lesson to her students. The IRTs meet with me before school. The IRTs meet with me after school, and not just for me, but for every teacher in my school.
Good evening. My name is Liz Yoakley, and I teach at Great Mills High School. I am dismayed that I have to spend my evening here. I have 3 children that I should be home with right now, helping them with their homework, making their dinner, reading with them. Instead, I am here begging to be given what I've earned so I can continue to support my children. I am tired of doing this. Ironically, I just finished teaching my government students that breaking a contract is a matter of civil law that will end with a lawsuit. Every time I say it, I wonder to myself why SMCPS is allowed to do so without repercussions. Maybe there are different repercussions that are just not thought of or valued. Things like lowered morale of teachers because we feel undervalued and underpaid again. Maybe you don't realize that every time we are treated this way, another teacher stops giving their all. I see it. Some teachers think if they can't be bothered to fight to pay me for the time I am required to put in, why am I putting in so much more time? Some are simply unable to put in more time because they are forced to work another job to make ends meet. This is the end of my 16th school year at Great Mills High School. I was recently interviewed and featured in an article in the Enterprise touting the successes at our school. I love my job and I love my kids. I go far above and far beyond taking care of the kids as if they are my own. I am one of the reasons that the kids at Great Mills High School are able to get to graduation. There are about 120 caring adults at Great Mills High School. The majority of us give our all to our kids. There are more kids than anyone would like to admit who wouldn't ever get to graduation without us, not just at Great Mills, but at all the schools. We feel like you only acknowledge that when our graduation stats are up. You say nice things about us, you send a nice email. But when things go wrong, we get thrown under the bus. How is it that a mistake in the budget leads to talk about how many ladies work in the school system and how we're all having babies and that's breaking the budget? Wow, I didn't see that one coming in 2014. Does that mean my 3 kids led to the broken budget? We are an organization with a female majority that doesn't even have paid maternity leave. Now I'm supposed to feel bad that I used my health insurance to pay for the deliveries? Wow. I pay $249 a month for my health insurance. Our union agrees to less pay in exchange for it, but I'm the bad guy for using it? I and my female colleagues broke the budget? You think it hurt SMCPS, you should have seen what having babies did to my household budget. After I have to take 5 weeks without pay. And I won't even get into the physical details that come with returning to work too soon after giving birth so that I can pay my bills. You're probably thinking I should have saved more money ahead of time. You are right. If only my income as a teacher and my husband's income as a para would allow us to live in St. Mary's County, support our 3 kids, and have money left over to save sufficiently. The cost of living here isn't exactly cheap. We just get by. They take $494.30 out of my pay every month for my pension. Then tell us it doesn't actually go into the pension fund, and I better hope the state doesn't take that money away before I get to retirement. Wow. When we go home to Pittsburgh for breaks and our family asks us why we're still in Maryland, we say it's because they treat their teachers so well. Haha, no we don't. We tell them the truth, which is that the kids need us and we love them. Trust me, my husband and I are an example of the people that you want to stay here. We live in a very modest home off of Chancellor's Run in Great Mills. Our students live next door and across the street. There are always groups of kids playing in our yard. We are involved in Cub Scouts, Pax River Raider football, St. Mary's American Little League, Rec and Parks basketball, soccer, and track. We teach Sunday school, and we volunteer at South Point Church. We are the epitome of good citizens of St. Mary's County. We just get by, but we stay in the school system because we know we are called to do so. We know we make a difference. We know it is the right thing to do. So why in the world would you want to fix the budget mistake on our backs? Saying we get no COLA, no step, even though I was promised as much when I signed my contract back in 1998. And by the way, you also want to reopen negotiations and increase my health insurance premiums and my copays?
Ms. Oakley, could you please sum up, please?
Yes, sir. After telling the public that my health insurance is the problem, I don't understand. That is not valuing our hard work. That is throwing me under the bus. You want to accept yet another year, you want us to accept another year of bringing home less than we did the year before. You must not understand. We can't cut any more. Do my kids have to give up their participation in youth sports? Do we feed them more hot dogs and noodles? Do we put yet another sweater on them in the winter? Because Food Lion and SMECO and Metcom and Rec and Parks don't take nice emails as payment. They don't accept a letter saying what a great job I do or a pat on the back. I have to pay them in money. Therefore, I have to get paid money. Stop taking advantage of teachers' giving nature and pay us what we've earned. Allow us the dignity of working hard and as a result, being able to provide for our families.
Good evening. My name is Jocelyn Weaver, and I am a social studies teacher at Great Mills High School. Please excuse my appearance. I was at track practice, didn't have a chance to go home. We weren't outside very long, but we were there. I am currently in my 10th year of teaching for SMCPS. I came here straight out of college. I also have coached basketball for the school, track and field. I'm a mentor teacher for 3 individuals within my building. I have also been a class sponsor and a co-sponsor of FEA. I bring all of this up because I believe that I am fully invested in the future of both Great Mills High School and St. Mary's County Public Schools. I go above and beyond the required duties of my contract. I come to work every day about an hour before I'm required to be there according to my contract, and I leave well after my contract day ends. That being said, I don't believe that I'm being adequately compensated for the work that I do. Even with all of those extra pay for extra duty positions that I mentioned, which pay me less than the hourly minimum wage even before taxes are taken out, I still struggle to make ends meet. I have a 4-year-old daughter. I live in an old and falling apart apartment complex simply so that I can afford to pay for her daycare, for her food, and for her clothes. I've been told over the years that I am going to get my step increases, that I will get my COLA, only to be continually let down by a Board of Education and a Board of County Commissioners who do not fully fund our schools or our contracts. If I don't follow my contract and I show up to school late, I get in trouble. So why is it okay for other people to break our contract? What really bothers me about our current contractual situation is that even though I can barely break even each month with all of my expenses, when I tried to enroll my daughter in pre-K this year, I was told that I make too much money. I exhaust myself every day for St. Mary's County Public School, getting paid less than what I need to survive, putting my own money into my classroom so that my students don't have to go without, but I can't even get my daughter into pre-K. The median income in St. Mary's County is $86,358. I make well less than that. My dream of home ownership is simply that. It is a dream. St. Mary's County is obviously a very expensive place to live. Average price of a single-family home is $281,000. Townhouses cost over $200,000. Without these step increases or COLAs, chances are my paycheck is going to continue to get smaller due to the rising cost of health care. I live in an area where there's high crime, without a yard for my daughter to play in safely. This isn't why I went to college. I've always known that as a teacher I wasn't going to be rich, that I wasn't going to be paid incredibly well. That's not why I became a teacher. But I went to college and I got a degree so that when I did have a family, I would be able to provide for them a decent, safe place to live. Currently, I am being prevented from being able to do that by not being paid adequately. St. Mary's County has the second highest weekly wages in Maryland as of 2012. According to the St. Mary's County government website, incomes are steadily rising in this county, yet the county cries broke when it comes to funding our schools. I take serious exception to this. I should not have to coach 2 sports and mentor 3 teachers just to barely be able to afford to live in this county. People leave Great Mills every year to try and find a job where they can live without struggling. Please do not force me and dozens of other teachers to do the same this year.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Janine Davis-Smith. I want to start by saying I'm homegrown. And when I mean I'm homegrown, my mom lives in Leonardtown. I went to Leonardtown Elementary. I went to Leonardtown Middle. I went to Leonardtown High School. I graduated from Salisbury State University and came back here because I wanted to make a difference in my community. I started making that difference by being a classroom teacher, but I'm greedy. That wasn't enough. I wasn't impacting enough children. I was only impacting about 25 or 30 kids. I saw I need to impact more, especially to close that achievement gap. That's why I decided to become an instructional resource teacher, because I saw how I could touch more people by being in a bigger role. How so, may you ask? You're probably wondering, hey, how does she do that? Well, in my work, I support teachers in the areas of professional development, data analysis, planning, and the implementation of various programs and instructional materials used within the elementary school. By directly working with classroom teachers, I have impacted and touched every student in my school. When I am asked numerous times to provide professional development on a county-wide staff development days, I have again impacted vast majority of students in our school system. I'm closing that achievement gap. My job description doesn't end there. Each day, that is Monday through Friday, ladies and gentlemen, I am directly instructing 40 students in the area of intervention. With the combined efforts of the classroom teacher and me, these students will be at or close to grade level at the end of the school year. If the IRPT position is taken away or decreased, these great strides will not occur. It takes many children to be successful, and those many children that are successful with many hands. One IRT in a building can't do it. 2, you're asking for a lot. There actually needs to be more, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, it takes a village to raise and educate a child. Finally, as an IRT, I support the implementation of new initiatives like the Gifted and Talented program, as well as the countless other plethora of duties I have, such as test coordinator, resource procurator, and mentor teacher. Without an IRT in my building, there will be a negative impact on student achievement. Teacher workload will increase, and the quality of the education that we have come to chant and rave about in St. Mary's County Public Schools will decrease. The decision rests with you guys. Eliminating us or decreasing us is not a wise choice. The days of doing less, it's got to stop. We need more. It's got to start with us funding education in this county completely and totally. As a minority myself, in order to close that achievement gap, we've got to keep our IRTs in the buildings. 1 is not enough. 2 is not enough. I'd love to have more. Thank you.
No, she wasn't running away. We were playing chase and hide and seek. I'm not sure what everyone else has been doing, but I have 474 emails left to answer for today, because I've had my students, because I have paper shortages and not enough supplies for them to creatively do the things that I do in a classroom, email me every document. I'm kind of sick of this, but it's okay. All right, I'm Tammy Payne, and I teach at Leonardtown Middle School. And my Board of Education speech just went down the tubes because it was on my Google Drive. It's okay, it's back. All right, I have been blessed to impact the lives of children, and I work hard as a teacher, but you guys know that. But does the county realize what we do? And I don't think they do. I'm not so sure, so I'm here to tell you what it looks like, just a tad bit. I don't complain about my work hours, but I would like to explain a few things. If I need to take time off from work, I cannot simply walk out the door. I must write substitute plans that are rigorous for my students. Yet, they must be simple enough for my substitute to be able to understand and implement. When I come back, I have to grade all of the things that I left for them to do. In most jobs, you simply notify your boss and you go home. That's in most jobs, and that's not this job. I chose this job for a reason, and I'm not going to leave this job. But I watch my fellow colleagues who are IRTs who are contemplating leaving this job because they're not being respected, and I sit and I cry. Because they are the hardest working people. They work with all 1,000 of our students. And if we lose one, we need to hang our heads in shame. Now, as spring approaches, I love this part. Sorry, this part tickles me, because as spring approaches, I get so excited. Not because the end of the year is coming. No, that's not it. I could take my kids 12 months a year and teach them, because I love what I do. However, I get to figure out how to spend my $50 for the following school year. $50 is approximately the allowance my kids get on a monthly basis simply for being 13. Dang it. I got $5 when I was really good and did my laundry. Now, think about this. I get it once a year for 165 students. That hardly sounds adequate. With this money, I get to purchase the highlighters, pencils, papers, scissors, glue, note cards. Well, you kind of get the picture. All right, if I choose, did I just lose this? Yes, I did. Okay, so if I choose to use an electronic pencil sharpener for my students, well, there goes $45 of my $50. So I have $5 left of which to splurge for yet 165 students. Well, I guess we're going to have to sacrifice something, but I'm not sure what I can sacrifice and afford to give up in my classroom. Do I give up highlighters and ask kids to bring it in? Why do you think I provide them in the first place? Okay, if I do that, what happens to the kids whose parents cannot afford to supply their own children with these? In years past, I've used my own money to purchase these, but no more. I cannot continue to fund supplies that parents and the school system should be providing for our students because my salary has not kept pace. In fact, my salary with the steps given back is not even close to matching the needs of our kids in our community. While the United States history curriculum does not change, the curriculum that I have to teach has changed, and this year I have to meld 3 curriculums into one. Using a textbook that was outdated and purchased in 2000. It's 2013. My curriculum does not match my textbooks, and God forbid if you're a science teacher, you have 17 or 18 of those things. They're real skinny little things. Try to be a home hospital teacher and teach that. No way. So this spring, I was given a wonderful opportunity of being trained in an e-tech book that the county was bringing on board. You talk about excitement. It was the talk of the departments. It was awesome. It was everything we could have asked for. It was being updated. It was being supplied to us. We were trained on it. We brought our students in on the list. I even cornered Dr. M. Only to go to the training, to write the sub-plans, to have to grade the sub-papers, to get an email from my supervisor saying it's been nixed due to budget cost. You talk about disgruntled, sad, frustrated employees.
Ms. Payne, can you please sum
I can.
Thank you.
Not yet, though. So how are we supposed to teach using outdated books and only spending $50 per teacher per year? We're in the bottom of the per pupil funding, and it can't continue. The county should be ashamed at their lack of funding. Not so much for our jobs, and yes, I'm sorry, it is for our jobs, but truly, we are shaping the future, and we can't do that if we are not funded. These kids that we're teaching now are the ones that are going to put us in homes when we're older. They're the ones that are going to be making the judgment calls about what our school system is going to look like in 2030, 2050. And if we don't spend the time to bring us current, what have we done? We have set our community up not to be a corridor for technology, as it says in Hollywood as you come through, where you get no cell service. But what are we doing? Why can't we be funded? Why can't we have respect? And lots of you know me, but those that don't, my son is a teacher, and I couldn't get him to come down here and teach. He chose Anne Arundel County, and they have done a fantastic job with him, supporting him, mentoring him, funding him. And I am shocked by what he gets and I don't. Honey, do you need pencils? Nope, school system provides it. You need paper? No. Do you need notebook paper? Mom, you're not getting it. I said, honey, look at this really cool, really cool stapler. He goes, Mom, I already have one of those on my desk. That stapler's part of my $50 for kids. My son gets that given to him. We should hang our heads.
Those are great personal stories, aren't they? They just get right here to you. My name's Courtney Dowling. I work for the Maryland State Education Association. I'm assigned to CSMIC, the Collective Education Association of St. Mary's County, which is all of the support staff that work for the St. Mary's County Public Schools. I'm going to pick up on the PowerPoint where my colleague Meg McDonald left off. I'm on page 7, the second slide. I'll give you a second to get there. Facts are stubborn things. FY15 budgetary implications. Assertion. Among other reductions, the elimination of positions and offices may be required. The fact, it's premature to discuss draconian FY15 budgetary implications when the budget is not yet finalized and none of the funding needed for offers extended to employees during negotiations has even been requested from the funding authorities. Healthcare Committee. Assertion. In order to handle the FY14 shortfall, the Healthcare Committee will need to be reconvened to discuss health care savings to include co-pays and pharmaceutical plans. Fact. The Joint Insurance Study Committee is made up of CSMIC, ESMIC, SMASA, and St. Mary's County Public School representatives equally. The purpose of the committee is to annually review specifications of the employee's health insurance plans with any recommended modifications being forwarded to the respective bargaining teams for consideration during the next negotiations. Fact, the soonest that the insurance benefits will be open for consideration in negotiations will be FY15, and the soonest effective date for any potential changes will be FY16. That's the school year 15-16. The real problem, assertion. This was stated by Dr. M just today. The real problem is healthcare issues. Fact, as the table below shows, which is on the PowerPoint, and I'm sorry to all of you that did not get a copy. As the table below shows, the actual claims paid in both FY12 and 13 were well over $22 million. This data was available, and yet SMCPS only budgeted $18.6 million for healthcare in FY14. On the table, I'd like to apologize for the typos. It's proof that haste makes waste. Fact, the real problem is budgeting. Facts are stubborn things. Fact, a red herring is something intended to avert attention from the matter at hand. Fact, there is no health care usage problem. Fact, there is a budgetary problem. Facts are stubborn things. Thank you.
Madam Secretary, was that the last speaker? Okay. I want to thank everyone for coming and making comments. If you haven't turned in your written pages, please do so to the Secretary. We have some, but I don't think we have all the presentations. So if you would like to, please do so. I encourage you to do so. Thank you very much for coming and making public comment. Board members, next is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Everyone in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The ayes have it. Action items. First action item is a contract award for Phase 2 of the Energy Efficiency Initiatives Project. Mr. Larry Hartwick.
She was just wondering what to do with her.
Good evening, board members. This action item tonight is the contract award for Phase 2 of what we call our EEI project. The Energy Efficiency Initiative projects were funded by the fiscal year 2014 capital budget, totaling $1.3 million, to provide high-efficiency lighting, LED lighting, to replace parking lot lights and building-mounted lights at 21 school sites. You might recall that we actually requested 23 school sites. White Marsh and Dinard were not originally funded. The advantages and importance of this project are numerous. There are substantial savings from these LED lights, which use about half the energy of the older fixtures. The fixtures themselves have twice the service life of the existing fixtures, so there's less maintenance cost over time. And then the third advantage of this project is at a number of locations, we have monthly rentals from SMECO for security lights, and this project allows us to replace those monthly costs as well. You might recall that in order for us to kind of expedite the work, to simultaneously do some of the construction work and then design others, we broke up the projects, the 21 projects, into multiple phases. The first phase was awarded by this board back in December of 2013. The process is that we had to verify utility savings as part of the Phase 1, and then it had to go to the state of Maryland for their approval, and that was approved in February of 2014. The Phase 1 project is well underway now. We've completed Leonardtown Elementary School. We have, and the Phase 1 involves not only Leonardtown Elementary School, but Leonardtown Middle School, the Forest Center, and all 3 high schools. We should finish up Great Mills High School early next week, and in quick succession, the other schools as well. So that Phase 1 has gone well. We've learned a few technical things about this, and we'll incorporate that into how we proceed with the Phase 2. The Phase 1 was awarded to Zapata Enterprises. And like I say, they're doing an excellent job at this point. Let me get that.
Never known Larry to clear our room so fast in my life.
The second phase encompasses 13 schools, all the remaining middle schools, and a number of the elementary schools. And you see those individual schools listed here in this column here. This is the bid tabulation for the bidders. There were 8 prospective bidders. 6 of those bidders submitted bids on March 6th of 2014. You can see that once again, Zapata Enterprises was the lowest apparent bidder at $531,900. So approximately $26,000 less than Hunt Consulting. That's a spread of about 5%. I'll just say that Zapata Enterprises is relatively local. They're located in Port Tobacco. Hunt Consulting is a little further out. They're up in the Fort Meade area. The advantage of the way that we bid this project is we had individual line items for all 13. So we're able to compare between Hunt and Zapata, and consistently Zapata was 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 occasionally less than Hunt. So there was no big bust or no real big spread in that sense on any individual project. With that being said, from the financial summary, you can see that our construction budget for Phase 2 was just over $587,000. So the lowest bid is considerably less than the construction budget. We'd be proposing to you tonight to continue a construction contingency of $30,000 for the Phase 2. You'll see that our original budget for design and construction administration was just over $90,000. So to recap how that really would be, how that compare to the actual award, you see the award at $531,900, construction contingency of $30,000. The design and construction administration for Phase 2, as was Phase 1, is considerably less. So you can see there's been substantial savings in this Phase 2 as well as the Phase 1. So our approach will be to go back and ask for funding with these savings to the state and fund both Dinard and White Marsh, and then pick up Town Creek and Ridge. And those 2 schools, in addition to the exterior lighting, we will be replacing the interior gym lighting. So there's a little different scope for that phase. So with that being said, Zapata's financial capabilities are strong. Their surety met the requirement of a A rating from AM Best. I will say Zapata Enterprises is also a certified MBE firm. So with all that being said, we believe that Zapata Enterprises is the lowest responsible and responsive bidder. And so that we request you award this contract in the amount of $531,900 to them. We further ask a construction contingency of $30,000. And the execution of the contract is, again, contingent on our verification with utilities on the rebates and submission to the state for their approval. We expect that will happen in the June and July time period. and all of the projects should be completed by December of 2014. With that, I'll take your question.
Thank you, Mr. Harwood. Board members, comments, questions? Mrs. Allen?
Because we've been talking so much about budget, starting at 1 this afternoon, I think it might help people to understand that we have two sides to the budget. One is the operating side, which pays for our personnel, our transportation, special education, all of the things that go into the classroom and make everything from a educational and teaching standpoint possible. The other side is the capital projects side, the capital improvements plan, and that's, you know, kind of the building side of the house and the lighting and all of that. So we can't put money from the capital budget into the operating budget. We can't really put operating money into the capital budget. The capital budget is funded differently. It is subject to various restrictions in terms of where we get it from, how we get it, and what assurances we have to provide in terms of how we spend it. What it does provide for us when we do projects like this is that this is expected based on, and more than expected, SMECA would not be giving us the rebates that they're giving us were this project not to deliver the kinds of savings that we will then be able to realize in the operating budget. So hopefully that's sort of a Reader's Digest condensed version. What Mr. Hartwick is very good about is keeping these budgets in a very tight aspect and learning from each one and applying what he learns into the next phase of projects. And that has saved us a great deal of money over a great many projects, which has allowed us really to continue with a number of the things that we've done. And I applaud Mr. Hartwick for that because he's really done that quite well. You have indicated in the past that you're very happy with Zapata, what they've provided for us. I realize that given that this was just approved by the IAC, which is a statewide committee, that was just approved towards the end of February, and though the project is being implemented currently, I'm sure we're not, we're starting to see some savings, but not like we will once all of this is done. When do you anticipate that if we move forward with this, that this project will be done, and then what will be the time frame in wrapping up everything? Because
Well,
there's a phase 3, correct?
Right. Yeah, the phase 3 I think we'll do simultaneously as
Okay.
phase 2 is completed. And like I say, all 24 sites should be done by December of 2014.
Very good.
Yeah.
You've done a wonderful job. I really don't have any questions on what you've brought forward. I like the way that everything, you've separated it all out, which helps tremendously, and obviously the differences in cost for each of the schools has a lot to do with the scope of the work at that particular place. Right. And you can kind of look at school by school and compare some of the smaller sites, mid-sized sites, but even those, there's some alterations just based on the variances in the buildings and the sites themselves.
Right.
But thank you. I appreciate the information, and I appreciate the understanding of me perhaps delving a little deeper, a little differently into this subject. So thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Allen. Mrs. Washington?
I want to thank Mrs. Allen for explaining the difference between the operating budget and the capital budget. And this is in alignment with our effective and efficient uses of resources. We try to find measures in our capital budget to be more efficient, and this is one way to do it with the LED light, the fixtures. Also, it provides safety for our schools so that they will be well lit because they can be used as grounds for crime. So it's good to have that LED lighting, and it will also provide a cost savings to us. So I applaud you for the great work that you have done. With the cost-saving measures that Zapata is a company, you have checked them out. They have a good record. And I think they're also a minority contractor?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Washington. Mr. Matthews.
Great job, sir. Your hard work saved us some money, and we can knock out the other schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. Mrs. Crosby.
Also, very good job, sir. If you ever want some regular light bulbs, we have them all over our basement, stacks and piles of them. And now we have LED lights. They're getting better, by the way. I think they're improving. They weren't too good at first, but they are improving.
Yeah, they're going to do it.
I know the ones we have, though, are top-notch. Thank you.
Peter?
No comment, but thank you.
Mr. Hardwick?
No.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Rasmussen, can I add one thing? As Ms. Allen, you were going through that very well on how this is funded, and I thank you for covering that. This project is a little unique in that the state funding with these rebates and all, we're going to wind up spending locally about $250,000, and we're going to be recognizing a savings of over $120 a year, and as rates go up. So you can see this has a 2-year payback for us, which is really unique. Mr. Hardwick and Mrs. Howe, who's not here, work closely on finding every avenue to improve the school system. So I congratulate both of them. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Board members, this is an action item. Do we have a motion?
I move that the Board of Education approve the contract for the Phase 2 energy efficiency initiatives to Zapata Enterprises Incorporated in the amount of $531,900. The Board of Education further authorizes a construction contingency of $30,000. Execution of the contract shall be contingent on state review and approval and verification of utility rebates.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Everyone in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There are no information items this evening. Future board meetings. The next regular board meeting will be on Wednesday, May the 14th, 2014 at 9 a.m. This meeting's adjourned.
We don't have a meeting.